Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Addie if you are new here, and I have 4 little kiddos. Right now I am doing preschool with my 3-year-old, and my 5 and 7-year-old are at school. My 5-year-old is in the thick of learning to read at school, and it has been a little bit frustrating for her. So we are starting to pick up a little bit of homeschool when she is not at school to kind of help her reinforce some of what she's learning at school. And I thought I would share with you some of the things that we're doing that are just a little bit more play-based and fun ways to learn your letter sounds and get your phonemic sounds a little bit, deeper in the brain, I guess, in some fun ways to make it not so, at a desk trying to learn and frustrating for the kiddos. So first off, some of these things you can do with 3-year-old learning sounds as well, and some of them are maybe a little bit more advanced. You would wait till you're 4 or 5. But I just wanted to share a couple of ideas in case that is helpful to you. So first off, an easy one is to do something like an I Spy. And instead of, finding a color or a thing, you are looking for a sound. So you could say something like, I spy with my little eye something that starts with K. And they have to look around and try to find things that start with K. This obviously could be played with a 3, 4, 5-year-old or older. But you could offer hints if you needed to, it's something that you use to write with. You could use any sound, really, obviously, but you could make it harder by using more than just the beginning sound. So you could say, I spy something that ends with the letter T, and, look for the ending sound. You could do middle sound. I spy something that has a short sound of and try to find that as they get more advanced in that process. But that definitely is just an easy way to make it more fun. You could do it in the car, you could do it while you're sitting on the couch, that sort of thing. Another thing that we do that's kind of along the lines of that is a sound like treasure hunt or scavenger hunt. So we will say I want you to find something that starts with the letter M or M. And so they will then go around the room and try to find one, or you could play many things. You find a mug or a marker or magnet or things like that, and you're trying to find things and do a search around and collect things that start with that letter. And then you can do as many letters as you want. Again, you could make it harder or do a variation by doing end sounds or something like that, but typically I think for these ages, 3, 4, 5, the beginning sound is kind of enough to do. You could also do something like a sound hopscotch. We like that a lot. So you kind of, you could do either a hopscotch, or you could just do letters made out of tape on the ground. And you could say, hop to the letter M or hop to the letter P. I often use the sound rather than the letter name because that's what I'm trying to get my kiddos to associate with. But you can make it fun like that. Tiptoe to the letter T, something like that. And then once they get a little bit better at that, you could do a more advanced version, such as with my 5-year-old, as she's really reading, I could do hop to the letters that make the sound pig. And so then she could hop to P, I, G, that in an order type thing. So that is just a little harder variation if you need a little bit more of a challenge, but still adding that gross motor, that fun, the play into the learning. Another thing we do is work on segmenting a little bit, so breaking words apart. So these are probably, the next several are going to be more for the older ones, the 5-year-olds who have mastered all of the letter sounds. So segmenting is pulling a word apart. So for example, we could do a silly talk, whether it's a alien talk or a robot talk or whatever the voice is that you want to do. And you could say something like, tell me the sounds in dog. And then in their silly voice, they could say d, g, something like that. And they could break the sounds out. So that's segmenting. And that is so helpful for them. And then if they want to give you one, then you talk like a robot. And they say, okay, give me the sounds in cat, mom. And you could say k, ah, t, in some crazy voice or whatever. But just using that silliness really gets them kind of going. Then you could also do the reverse of that and play a little detective game and say, what are the sounds that I'm making? I am saying k, ah, t, and then they have to kind of put that together and say cat, really just to help them with that blending process. And then to make it a little harder, you could do longer words too. You know, what is s, l, I, p, slip. So you could start doing more advanced things as they get the 3-letter ones going a little bit longer. So kind of the reverse of the robot silly talk one. That's more of like sleuth detective type style. Another thing we really like to work on is syllables and having them recognize the different parts of words. So one way we do that is just like simple clapping, you know, like the napkin or window, and clapping those different sounds, or your chin dropping or whatever. And you can also do that with like Play-Doh. You could put a few balls of Play-Doh and have them press the Play-Doh every time the syllable happens, or a popper. Like you know those pop-it things everybody has, the little like finger fidget type things, and you can pop a button for every syllable. Something like that, but just working on the action with the word at the same time. And that is good for the littles, the 3-year-olds too. They can do syllable work and get those pre-reading skills, you know, at an early age. Another thing that's good for this pre-reading is doing rhyming. And so rather than just saying, give me a word that rhymes with hat, you can make it a little bit more fun and say, I'm thinking of a word that rhymes with cat, and you wear it in the winter. It kind of just like gives a little bit more for them to think about. So then obviously they would be saying hat. Again, those are fun for the olders and the youngers, the 3s, the 4s, and the 5s, little games like that. And then finally, one thing you could do is sound switching. And this is probably more for the 5-year-old, more for like the advanced think about it type problem, but sound switching. So you could say, what would happen if you took the b sound in bat and changed it with an sound? And then they would have to say, like, think about, okay, what would that become? That would then become mat. So you could, if you have a movable alphabet or like letter magnets, I've got some, you could do it that way and visually show them. Let me grab mine real quick. So you could visually show them like this, you know, with magnets. And if you replace this sound, b, with a what would you get? And if they can't kind of figure it out just by this, you could slowly move the letters down and then say, oh, you would get mat. And then once they get good at, if this is like kind of as you begin, and then maybe they could do it like just thinking about it without the visual cues, but you could do something like this to start. Likewise, you could do the same with like the end sound as they get the beginning sounds. Beginning sounds are always the easiest for them, but you could then work on the end ones too. For example, mat, if you change the t to a p, becomes map. So you can do them both ways once you kind of go on that. And that's some of the things that we do here. For the littles, identifying the sounds obviously is a kind of skill that you kind of need to master before you get to this step. So definitely, I think in the past, I've had some videos on mastering letter sounds. I will put it in the description below on some ways, like fun play ways that we have done that. So if you are there, go check that video out. And if you are a little bit more at this level, then hopefully this gives you, I don't know how many there were, 6 or 7 different ways that we've been doing lately to help with that process. We actually also recently got the Love Every Reading skill set, and I've been pretty impressed by that as well. We have the level 1 and the level 2 now, and honestly, if you want something that's more than just this talk and you want something physical, like made well, that is designed for this kind of thing, I would recommend it. We've really liked it and been using it, and so I would say check that out too. I will post a link to the reading skill kits in my description as well. So definitely if you need something more of a physical, somebody else helps you come up with the reading plan type thing, check that out too. We've really liked that program, and yeah, I really hope this helps, and gets you on your way with your kiddo to letter sounds, phonemic awareness type of situation. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.